Hi everyone, I'm Laure Jérémy. So today is our first podcast, UniToShine. So we have a special guest, Magali Vives, who is going to talk about and share with us experience in terms of people who are looking to change careers. So this for me is quite a special topic, essentially because I've been in this situation where I've been working for a long time in business marketing, and myself, as I think a number of other people, are sometimes going through this situation where they wonder if their current job is something they want to do and carry on doing, or potentially do something different or totally different. Myself or other people, we've been looking, or we were in a situation where sometimes we're just really frustrating with our job and not always finding something that we're fully happy with. And I think people like Magali also method and tools she's using can really help people in this situation. So welcome, Magali. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
It would be amazing if you can give us a short introduction of your background and everything you'll be doing with your client and your work.
Sure. So hi, everyone. My name is Magali Vives. I'm 36. I currently live in France. Okay, so my background, I studied political sciences first. And then I have a master's degree in HR management. I started to work for a few years in journalism and communication, which was my specialty during the first years of my study. And then I worked as an HR consultant, which I am still today. So in this work, I help people, individuals, and organizations to navigate periods of change, such as you were mentioning right now. Sometimes, you just think that you have to change something in your career, and you don't know how to organize your thoughts, you don't know how to analyze, you don't know how to find new ideas and ways. So a part of my job has been for years to help individuals who were in your situation to structure and guide them into a process of thinking, both to analyze what they had been doing in the past and what they wanted and could do in the future.
Amazing. So I'm sure you've been working with a lot of people and helping a lot of them going through some, I guess, tough changes. Because really often, even myself, for those of you who doesn't know me, so I'm French, and I think France, maybe compared to other maybe countries in terms of the way that we study and after we start our professional life is when you start studying, for example, business marketing, or if you start studying other thing, which is really specific, it's really hard after in the future just to switch careers and do something totally different. In other countries, I think for most of them it's easier, but also with just internet, it make everything much easier. So for me, what I would like to understand from you, Magali, is I guess for someone who is in the situation where potentially they've done this, I don't know, because maybe the parents or friend were doing this, they've done the studies, then they get their first job and then just carry on and on the same path. But for months or years, they feel that they're not fully happy with what they're doing. They always feel like they're searching for something else, something new. This was, I would say, my situation where I thought that every time I will get a new job, it will fulfill what I was looking for. And after a few days, a few months, a few years, I just realized that I was still missing what I was looking for in the job. And after taking some time off, stepping back, in a way realized that maybe what I was doing is not exactly what I would like to do in the future, or people I was working with, etc. So I had my own journey, and also with your knowing you really helped me to kind of guide my own journey. So I think what would be amazing if you can help our audience, people who are our listeners. So if they are in this situation, what would be your advice? What should they do?
Yeah. Yeah, as you are explaining, the people I helped, they were from 25 years old, maybe, so just a few years of work experience to 60 years old, you know, just about to retire and not knowing what they wanted to do in their next step. And also students who had done a lot of studies and didn't know what to do next. So, you know, the process, I would say, is always the same. The first thing is not to jump too fast into something. Sometimes people think they don't really know what they want to do. Actually, they do. If they look inside themselves and, you know, in the past, oh, I like that, you know, I've always had some interest for this, or I've tried that, or, you know, and then they can find, sometimes they don't really know and they have to search for something which matches their own needs and interests. But every time the situation is the same, meaning there's a need for structure in the thinking process. Most of my clients arrived at first and they were saying, you know, I've been thinking so much about that. I've been thinking so much about changing or not, what I want to do, what I don't want, you know, and it's there and they are thinking, and it's like a cloud that it cannot transform into something concrete. And that's where they were in pain most of the time, saying, I cannot do anything with those thoughts and I really need something to make it concrete. So I would say the first thing is make time to think about it, because thinking when you're working every day, you know, you're working, you have your job, you have to go in the morning, you have your meetings, you have this, that, and you're like in a washing machine sometimes. And you don't have time just to think about it properly. So yes, it's somewhere, and sometimes you grab an information, but then it goes again in your cloud, you know, and you don't make anything with it. So first, make time. If you can have a break in your career, it's great, because then you are going to take maybe a month, maybe 2 months to really process and think about it. If not, you can decide that, for example, every week, I don't know, every Sunday morning for 1 hour, you are going to think about what you want in your career. But you really need to make some specific time. And the best is to be helped and guided by someone who can guide you through a process.
Yeah. So I mean, it's so true. I mean, for example, for me, in my personal situation, I was, as you said, in this kind of washing machine process, going up, going at work, doing my job, extremely busy, stressful, coming back, totally exhausted, taking some time during the weekend to somehow have a bit of a break, but never really had the time to think, or really to take the time to think and step back and write down really what I wanted to do. And I think I've been really lucky, in an extreme lucky situation where I had the opportunity to take breaks. So in a way, I had to break quite recently in my career, where I've been able, I had 3 months where I've been able to travel, and this helped a lot to step back and realize that maybe what I was doing wasn't exactly what I wanted to do, and all the stuff were out there, and it was possible to do something different than just what I was doing. Because sometimes we just think that it's just either it's not possible or you don't always realize what is out there. So this is taking the time is really key, because it helps you to open up, to look everything like more the big picture and not just, you know, being your day-to-day job and life. And again, after my last job, taking some time traveling, growing, developing myself with a number of training, meeting people, attending events, and this was just key for me, to just grow and to take the time to listen really what I really wanted to do, and what make me happier, and change also my focus, because when I was in these jobs, I had totally a different focus. I was career driven. It was all about status and money, and today my focus totally changed. And this is because of the people I met, the training I took, and the different event and time I took also for myself. But I also do understand that some people don't have this opportunity, don't have this luxury. And it's something for me I wanted to do like for a long time, but at that time either it wasn't my priority, or I didn't have the luxury to do so. So I think it's great that you are giving also another alternative for people who are in this job. They don't really have the opportunity to just quit their job and take 1, 2, 3 months to think about what they want to do. So thinking about trying to, while still doing your job, and giving yourself on a weekly basis some time to think, put on a piece of paper what you want to do, what you think is important for you. I think this is brilliant. If these people also can get some help and support from someone like you with your experience, is amazing. After, it's for different reasons, it's not always possible, from financial reason or just maybe time or any other reason. So I think this is also good that you're giving different alternatives. So what, for me, I would like to understand also is, which maybe if it was someone who doesn't have the time and can only take a few hours a week, and maybe don't have also the money to get some support from a coach like you, a consultant who can help them along this journey, would you recommend maybe any books, any event, any tools, free tools, anything that, you know, these people can start doing? At the end, what for me I would like to do is, at the end of this webinar, I would love to be able to share also some insight and maybe something that they can take away, maybe use after. Sure. But if you have anything else, it would be amazing if you can share with them.
Yeah, you know, I would say there are two main topics to think about. First topic is what you've done in the past, you know, your successes and failures, the competencies that you have, the things that you liked and you would have loved to do more. So that's a first thing you can do, right? Looking at your career. Career is not only the main job you do every day. Huh? It can be also, you know, you volunteer somewhere, or you help people around you, and then you gain some new skills. So it's looking at that and looking at what you like, what you didn't, you know, and what were the phases of this path. And then there's the other part where you can list, okay, what are my values? What are my interests? What motivates me? What would be an ideal activity? If I could do, you know, anything I want, you don't think about the studies you need, or is there a job or not, you know, just the perfect activity. What time would you wake up in the morning? How long would you work every day? Would that be in an office? Would that be outside? You know, so just listing things like that. And then there's something which can really help to think is, do you know the concept, the Japanese concept of ikigai?
No.
It's so the ikigai for Japanese is the your ikigai is your reason for being. So it comes from both what you like and you're good at, so it's your interest, motivation, values, and also what you could do for the world, right? So what the job that exists, what the market needs, because you know, I remember a person that I've worked with, and the person was like, what I need to do is go in Africa and help poor people. I was like, oh, that's great. So what is your family situation? Well, I'm married, I have kids. Okay, so would your family be okay to go in Africa? No. Ah, well, there, you know, we have a problem here. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so what about stopping to think about that and think about, you know, the same need in another shape or in another format? Because sometimes I think some people they go on thinking about something they would like, which is an ideal, but it's not possible. It's not realistic. They will never achieve it because of other needs they have. Potentially being in a specific area in the world, having a family with them, you know, this kind of thing. So it's very important to think both about what you want and about what you can do or what the world can, um, what is possible, right? So the concept of ikigai can be very interesting to structure your thought. Another advice I would give is, if you really want to stay in a specific area, in a specific country, look at the job market, right? Because if for some reason, for example, you really need to have a specific income every month, you know, fixed income, well, you will need to know what is needed around you, right? What kind of employees, what kind of work, and then you can start your thinking process from there. So I would say that based on your constraints and needs in life, not only in work, then you can really start to structure your thinking about what you want in your work. Yeah.
Yeah. What also I was thinking is really often, this was my situation, that sometimes we think that by doing something else, because it's true for most of people, money either is an issue or really a big focus. And by sometimes doing something else, which we are thinking that won't generate the same level of income, we don't want to consider this new career, this new job. But by looking around and discussing with a number of people, I found also amazing that when you follow your true calling, is where you get the most success, and usually is where also the money flow. So maybe it's not something that you see at the beginning. It's not maybe something that you will read, because we are all different. But if it's truly what you are meant to do, if it's your gift, if you are passionate about this, I don't think so that you need to look money as an issue and something that should stop you to just, you know, take the step. It's not always easy. Of course, at the beginning, probably it's not something that you will see straight away. But of course, if you're committed by working in this new job or starting this new career, usually with the people I've been talking with, it's always something that does happen. So this, I find this quite amazing.
That's right. Finding sources of inspiration, that's very important, right? Whether it's traveling or talking with people who've done something different. but it feeds you, right? And then
Yeah.
you can open new windows where you think, oh, there was a wall. No, there is a window. Oh, great, I didn't know about that. And
Yeah.
then, it really helps. And also, I think sometimes the way we think about changing career is too black and white. We think, okay, I
Yeah.
have to stop this job, 9 to 5, to start a new business. Well, no, why not, just working part-time, so removing maybe one day of your work week there, so you keep a certain level of income for a while, and during this day you start your business, and then when it's there, you can stop your job or do it differently. So it can also be very progressive, and you don't have to think, I have to stop that to start this. Sometimes it's not that black and white.
Yeah.
And
It's
I've
amazing.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, sorry, I was just going to say I've helped a number of people who were really thinking, when am I going to stop this to start something else? And I said, can you just lower something to start something else? Yeah. And then, all of a sudden it was possible. Oh yeah, let's try like this. And then you gain confidence, and you see along the way, and if it doesn't work, you still have the possibility to say, I have that, I feel secure, because safety is one of the first needs of any human being. So as long as you keep this part of safety, sometimes it's just a tiny one, but you need it, then you have all the energy you need to be focused on something else.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing that you're taking this example about, keeping this job and starting maybe your new business. One of my friends, she been in fashion for many, many years. And few years ago, she kind of realized, I think it started after she had two kids. She started to realize how important sustainability was, and realizing how much fashion impact all of that, our planet.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's still working in fashion. She reduced volume of hours. I think she's now only works 3 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
But now also she's a speaker in university about sustainable fashion.
Nice.
And I think this is just amazing, because at the end of the day, she still loves fashion. At the end of the day, people will still carry on buying clothes, and we are still carry on wearing clothes. So this is not something that is going to stop. It's more looking how to make an industry better, how maybe your job, how to make it maybe better. In my own situation, and again, what you were saying about, is always something that can change and evolve along the way. And we need to understand that we won't find the answer straight away. And also, the answer is going to change along the way, because at the end of the day, it's all about the journey. And this is what is amazing. If we had all of the answers straight away, life would be just boring, right? So in my personal situation, at the beginning, I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I have a lot of interests, a lot of hobbies. That's also, I mean, it's because of my hobbies that I changed what I was doing to what I'm doing now. But I was like, I can't just put on the side everything I've done so far. I need to use everything I've done so far for what I want to do next. And everything I've done so far was, I did a number of business schools, because we in France we study along for many, many years. So I have all of this in my bag, and I have years of experience in marketing, working on client and agency side. And I'm thinking now to really use all of this knowledge, experience to what I'm going to do next. But maybe to do it in a more sustainable way. Maybe to help people who are interested into sustainability, into ethics, and using all of this knowledge into that. So for me, it's how it works, and I'm sure for a number of people, it can be in a way that simple. It doesn't have to be I'm doing A and I need to do Z, right? Maybe something in between, and looking this way make the whole journey much more easier. And maybe in my situation or someone else's situation, at the end of their journey, they might do something totally different, but this is kind of a step-by-step and a growing process as well.
That's right. That's right. That's very true. I've observed that also a number of times with people I was helping. You know, I remember Isabel, she was an accountant and she was working for a construction company, I think, or something like that. And, you know, she arrived and she said, well, I've been thinking for a while about changing my career because it doesn't make sense. I'm an accountant for a construction company. And, you know, based on my values, which are quite a lot focused around environment and sustainability, you know, I don't want to do that anymore, so I want to do something else. And the step was really big to go to this kind of job. And she liked being an accountant at the end, right? She liked the figures and she liked the structure and helping others with figures and these kind of things. So at the end, she realized that it was not changing job, meaning changing being an accountant. It was just being an accountant for another kind of company, right? And she ended up working for a non-governmental organization, which was about environment. And she was still into figures and, you know, accountant for the organization. So making sure that people were not spending too much and stuff like that. But those people were spreading the right message for her, and she was part of something which made sense. So I think sometimes the way we look at a career change is, again, it's too black or white, and there is definitely something in the middle, or there might be some steps. You start keeping the same job, going to another business. And then in this business, you start doing a different job, right? And then you start your own business. And step after step, you finally get to what was the end product, or really what you needed to do at the end, but it was not possible to do it right away in just a few seconds or years.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Yeah, so many examples I have around me where it's down to a lot of people change career, just as you just explained. They just open the window and just look into what else with their knowledge was possible, but just maybe working for just elsewhere. So just coming back into again, because I think it's great that we are giving a number of examples to our listeners, and also I really want for them to feel like, you know, at the end of this kind of interview, they feel like they can go away and, you know, maybe start thinking. So do you have maybe some really maybe 10 steps, 10 tips, or step by step that you will advise in maybe a bit more detail for them, maybe to take some note just now and after try thinking and try to apply all this advice?
Well, to me, there are two big steps, which are first analyzing the past, right? What you've done, liked, not liked, where you succeeded and failed, and considering activities you've done which you didn't consider as a job, and at the end of the day, it is a job because you gain skills. And that's the first step, because you need to know where you start from, right? With what you have in your suitcase, in a way. And then the second step is to think about what you would like based on your motivations and values and the jobs, you know. And that's where you you know, in the first phase, it's more about the past, and it's more introspection. It's more reflection. In the second step is more opening up to other things, looking for information, looking for job you've never heard about, interviewing people. Oh, okay, you do that. What does it mean? How does it work? How did you do? You know, whatever. So it's more looking into the future. Those are the two big steps. Then I would say it's not a step, but it's maybe a key success factor. It's having a sparring partner. It could be a coach. If it's not, it could be someone who is in the same thinking process, right?
Mm.
So you say, okay, this week, let's interview two people we know, and we would like to know better what they do and what inspiration we can get from them. And at the end of the week, then you can, you know, talk about it and share what did we find, how was it, so what are my main takeaways. That really, really helps, in my opinion.
Yeah, I totally agree with the last one you're saying. Again, because it's not everyone who can afford to pay a coach, but just having a mate, someone who maybe is at the same kind of level, process, situation where you are, it helps a lot. In my situation, I met someone in one of my training, and also this person, she left her job and started something totally different. And getting in touch time to time with her when sometimes I was kind of struggling, doubting myself, just wanted to quit, talking to her, because also for me it was great because she was a few steps away, so she was a bit more advanced. So everything I was going through, she went through this, and it was amazing for me to have all of this feedback and support, and having kind of this shoulder along the way, and for me to help me to really reflect on everything I was doing and I was going through. And also I'm with someone else where, because I'm doing a number of training, and this person was doing a similar training as mine, and also like kind of coaching each other on the same training, and supporting each other was and is just amazing. So for sure, this is a really good advice. What I remember also sorry.
No, go ahead. Sorry, I was going to expand a little bit on the sparring partner, but go ahead. I'll do that after.
Yeah, just my last point. So last time when we spoke, so what I remember you saying is that when with your client usually, so you share with them this kind of whole process, but what you made clear, so what you explain is that it's a personal work first before working with a coach. The coach doesn't have the answer. He will guide you, he will help you, he will support you, he will question you. But at the end of the day, your answer is like that within you. So it's just you really, really need to question yourself. And without this, even if you pay a coach, spend a lot of money and time with someone, if you don't do this job at the beginning, it's just wasted.
Sure. That's for sure. The coach or sparring partner, or however you call the person, is here to challenge you, you know, mirror what you say sometimes. Because sometimes we say things, and when another person says it back, you start thinking differently. So that's the work of the coach, you know, giving you tools. Sometimes it can be also tests or questionnaires about your personality, things like that, but that won't give you an answer. I had a number of clients, they were coming to me and say, okay, so I would like maybe to have 10 different tests with you, and at the end, I want to do what I'm made for. And I said, well, it doesn't work like this, right? The answers, they have to come from you. So those tools, they can help you, because from the results, you will think, I agree with that. I don't agree with that. Oh, maybe I should look into that way, you know. So it will feed you, but it won't give you the answers. And you're right, the answers come from the person who is clearly thinking about his or her career. What I was going to say also about the sparring partner, if you can afford a coach, of course, the person will question you and challenge you. If you can't, and if you choose someone who is, you know, in your surroundings, I would say choose a person who cares about you enough to be here, you know, and follow the process, but not too much. Because sometimes when you know someone too much, then you won't dare saying, well, you know, you would like to become, I don't know, an accountant, but you're quite a messy person, right? You won't dare saying this because you're afraid that it will damage the relation. So find someone who will be honest enough, who will follow the process enough. So be here, you know, week after week or month after month, but not someone who will be afraid of saying things. And also choose someone who will ask questions, because the better help you can offer to someone, the best help is to ask questions back. The person says something, I would like to become that. Oh, would you? Yeah. Why? You know, and just the questioning process is so valuable.
Yeah, no, I agree. So just, I guess it would be my last question, unless you think that we should cover something else. But so again, for someone who is in this situation, like really frustrating, struggling, really want to do something else, what is in a way kind of the risk not really taking the time of not, you know, looking into their career, looking what they want to do? Because in my situation, always I was just getting another job and always kind of doing the same, and always at the end for more than a decade I was to a certain extent making the same mistake. So what you will say to our listener, what would be the kind of the risk if they were not potentially writing down and using all of this advice today to look for what else they could do?
I would say the main risk is to be frustrated at the end. And not always because you wanted to do something different and you haven't. Sometimes it can be the opposite. I remember I coached a person, and she was in sales, in fashion actually. She was selling clothes, you know, and she had started in a shop, and then she became the director of the shop, and then she became the manager of the whole area. So she had had quite a nice career. And she arrived the first time and she said, you know, when I was a teenager, I really wanted to become a nutritionist. And I knew that. The problem was I needed to earn money. My parents didn't have money to finance, you know, my studies. So I just jumped into the first job I found, which was working in a shop and fashion. And then, you know, I worked and worked, and she was 43 maybe at the time. And she had this frustration, and she had had this frustration for maybe 20 years or 25 years. And then I said, okay, so we are going to look into this potential project, which is becoming a nutritionist, and also looking in other things, because sometimes you never know. You focus on something, but you don't look at others, which we did. And she interviewed 3 different nutritionists in different environments. And she came back and she said, well, I've been frustrated for 20 years. This is not at all what I want. It's not a job for me. It's not made for me. So I would say you can have frustration because you don't do something you want, or you can have frustration for a wrong reason, which is you have an ideal activity in mind, and it's not made for you, or it was 20 years ago and it's not anymore because also you've been changing. So I would say thinking at some point, you know, making a break, or just getting organized to think and do this job of reflection and projection. It makes you more conscious about the choices you make. So if you decide at the end, I'm going to go to stay in my career and go on with this job and with this company or with this business, fine. But you do it consciously. If you decide, I want to change, small step, big step, then you do it consciously because you took the time to see what are the opportunities, what are the risks, what would it take, why am I doing this, why would I feel more aligned with myself after that? And then based on all this, you have a clear picture and you make a step which is just conscious for yourself. So yeah, try to avoid frustration as much as you can.
Yeah, no, this is a really good point. It's great that you're mentioning it because I almost forgot about that you can get frustration not only about the job you are currently doing, but potentially frustration about something you want to do for many, many years, you are not doing. But it's amazing that when once you get to know what is a job about, then you realize that it's just not for you. And this is, it's just amazing how to avoid sometimes big frustration in a life where it's all about getting the information, the education about something. And I think it's not something we do enough, all of us. And I really do believe that this is key. And thanks for sharing that, because often when we talk about frustration, we talk about, oh, my job, but we forgot talking about something else we think we really, really want to do and we'll be happy with. But sometimes we don't realize that, in fact, it's not meant for us.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks a lot.
You know, there's a tool I'm thinking about, which we use a lot in business. No matter the job you do, you almost use it every time. It's the SWOT, you know,
Yes.
strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. This one, when you use that to apply to yourself, is very valuable because then you can think, okay, if I stay in my current situations, what are the opportunities, what are the risks, you know? So you do the whole process, and then maybe you do it based on one other potential career or two others, and then you can just compare. And I found during my career that this kind of approach was very valuable for people who are logical, you know, who need a structure, and there they had a clear view. It was very reasonable. It was a clear way of thinking, and it was getting very concrete. And then they had the SWOT of their situation now, the SWOT of another potential situation, and the SWOT of another one, a third one. Okay, let's just compare. Which choice am I making? I'm making this choice. Okay, why? Because that done. And then, you know, this thinking process, which sometimes you just can't stop, it stopped. They had made the decision. They knew why exactly. End of the topic. So yeah, that I would say, depending on your style, it can be a very good tool to use, and everybody knows about it.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks also for mentioning this one. Yeah. What I
You're
wanted
welcome.
to say also, maybe the last point, I always want to keep all of this discussion always positive, but something that for me, I think is a concern, and it was for my personal experience, but is way too often to too many people, is again, not doing something like looking back to see what would be good for you in the future can lead you to be in a situation not really good. A lot of people ending up having breakdown. A lot of people ending up having a depression. Some of them ending up as, you know, suicide. Of course, hopefully no one listening this today are in this situation, but if this is the case, that's why I think sometimes it's really extremely important to just try to slow down and just we have time. We just need to take the time to think and put everything on a piece of paper, and it's so important. Maybe much more important. It can take how much time you want, to put into it, or it doesn't have to take maybe just an hour, maybe like just the time to watch, a series or
That's right.
a movie. So, and I think this for someone's life can make a massive, massive difference. So I think something that hopefully whoever is in this situation can try to apply this advice and also take the time for that. Do you think we forgot something? Do you think maybe let's finish on a positive note? Because I wanted to keep this always positive, but yeah, let's finish on something positive. So have we missed something that you think we should? I mean, for me, what come up to my mind straight away is that everyone I met who've been in this situation, thinking about changing jobs, changing careers, all of these people, they're doing, most of them, something very quite different or really different. And all of them, yes, they've been through some difficulties and challenges, because changing is not easy, but they're so much happier. And this it was like so much money, happiness. You can't buy happiness.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Actually, I would have shared almost the same, because all the people that I've coached, in those kind of thinking process, at the end, they were always happy. And I would say almost they were, their energy level was not the same. They were not vibrating at the same level. Sometimes not because they had decided to make a huge change in their life. Sometimes it was the case, but sometimes it was just because they had taken the time for them to think what I want and the choices I make, and making it consciously. So I would say, when you think about quitting a 9-to-5 job, the first thing you should do is challenging your 9-to-5 job, right? Just challenge it. Don't you like the activity you're doing? Don't you like the business in which you're working? Do you feel in pain because you have this job but you don't have anything aside, like volunteering or something? Is there a balance missing? Really try to challenge before quitting. And the recipe you're going to find at the end, maybe reducing, maybe switching job, maybe switching business, maybe doing the same but on your own, maybe starting to volunteer at weekends, is your own recipe. And there's not one recipe for everyone. And sometimes the recipe is not as big as you could imagine at first. It could be just, a kind of tiny recipe, and it works for you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Magali. So thanks a lot for your time. Thanks a lot for all of this amazing advice that hopefully all of you listeners are going to use and apply. If you have any question for us, if you would like to know more about anything we covered today or anything we haven't covered today, it would be amazing to have your feedback and receive your question.
Sure.
But thanks everyone. Thanks, Magali. And I really hope to hear from you soon, guys. And see you next time for the next episode.
See you. Thanks, Laure.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Are you ready to turn your passion into a business? Is it finally time to make the difference you were born to make? Good, because we are here to help. Get started now at UniToShine.com.